JJJ, you already know it's your boy Joe back at it again, man. CodingPhase.com, man. This is the ultimate guide to web development, ultimate guide to web developers, ultimate guide to levels of developers, man. You dig? All right, so let's go with this, man. So right now, if you just started to get, interesting into this, you're at the level of Spark, man. You just got your first interest. And from there, you become a programmer. You learn HTML, CSS, the basics of JavaScript, a little loops, conditionals, DOM manipulation, and then from there you start jumping into the next level, a junior developer, right? Junior developer means right now you don't know exactly where you're gonna go. You don't know if you're gonna go front end, you don't know if you're gonna go back end, but right now you're just learning as much as you can, right? So you got, Bootstrap, you got jQuery, you got a portfolio of your little personal projects, little tutorials that you've done, and you launch your first website, your little .com, something from GoDaddy, whatever, right? And then you start applying for jobs, right? Then you realize, okay, you start applying for a job. Let's start with the front end, right? What do you need to become a front end developer, right? You gotta know responsive design, DOM manipulation, Ajax, MVC, any framework from Angular, React, Ember, Vue.js, right? Right now, this is like the basics. This is what every single developer from junior, mid, and senior need to know, right? Then from there you start going up. You're like, okay, I'm a junior front-end developer. Now you got hired. Right here is where you're applying to jobs and you're like, okay, I'm gonna send this out, send my portfolio and my my resume to people. So right, as a front-end developer. But in reality, once you come in, you're a junior front-end, right? Because you have, less than a year or two, or with basically building apps and, having experience at the job. Doing stuff in your house is not the same thing as working in a company. Remember that. All right, from there you got, okay, your little job is going to be from 45 to 60K, and that's fine. You're going to be maintaining legacy code, HTML, email, CSS3 animations, a little introduction to Node.js, which is fine. Then from there you got 2 to 7 years of experience, right? So this when you're already in the job, and as you go, you're gonna get a lot of more stuff to do. Of course, all of this stuff is not in order, but what it's telling you is that by the time you're in the mid level, you're gonna know at least the REST API, how to connect with it, Ajax, and you're gonna deal with other backend developers. You gotta build tools like Gulp, Webpack, Grunt. You got charts like libraries like D3.js, charts.js, HighCharts, other libraries that I didn't want to put because if I was to put every single JavaScript library that you might use, this whole page will be filled. There's like a million JavaScript libraries, right? All right, then from there you are the senior front end developer, right? Now you over here, you with the big boys now. Now you got the chance to work, in companies like Netflix and Facebook, whatever, or whatever big companies close to you, right? So like let's say an example, you got 7 years plus, right? So let's say an example, right now you're earning 80 to 130K, right? You got constant contact with the higher and upper management or CEO if it's a startup. Ownership of the project means that you're pretty much responsible for the project management, automated testing, also to extensive experience with security, how to, clear everything from, people injecting SQL into the page through your JavaScript because they do that all the time. And also to training junior and mid developers. So now you're pretty much responsible not only for the project, you're responsible for the team. So when somebody messes up in the team, upper management is gonna come to you. They're not gonna go and talk to them. They're gonna come to you like, hey, whatever, Johnny came in late or whatever, Johnny's not keeping up with the stack, whatever it is. But now you're actually responsible for it. You got unit testing, Mocha, Jasmine, Karma. All right, so that's the front end, right? Now let's go back into the levels. Remember junior developers. Now you could have easily gone the other way and you say, hey, I want to become a back-end developer, right? So you're a back-end developer, right? Now you gotta know at least some of Linux, app deployment, FTP, putting stuff into the servers and FTP, knowing Apache, Nginx, backend languages, right? You got to know at least one of these, right? C Sharp, PHP, JavaScript, Java, Ruby, Elixir, Scala, Go, whatever, right? Definitely you got to know at least one framework from them, right? And say, hey, ASP.NET, Laravel, Node.js, Spring, Ruby on Rails, Phoenix, Gopher, Django. So you got to know at least one framework so things could be easier, and everything's more structured. And, once you follow a framework, everything's easier, right? So then from there, you go to the next level. You got junior backend developers, right? You got 6 months to 2 years, right? So that was just to get your feet wet into the industry, right? So for people to even take you serious, you got to know at least one language and know at least the lamp stack, right? Which is like the easiest thing, and able to you at least use a FTP like FileZilla. That's just to get higher, right? Then from there, you're a junior backend developer, right? Now you're here for 6 months to 2 years. You earning 35 to 50K. You know, knowing one backend language is a must. You gotta know how to create a CRUD, create, read, update, and delete. You gotta be able to create a REST API. Most of these frameworks already have something similar to REST API, so you could actually look at the documentation and you get to pretty much build upon that. Then you have stuff like CMSs like WordPress, Drupal. 90% of the time you're gonna start here. Like if you're like a brand new backend developer, like most jobs, like they constantly hiring for this, WordPress and Drupal. What else? You got a deployment, how to deploy the apps in FTP servers, like shared hosting, like GoDaddy.com, was it Namecheap.com. Also too, like simple deployment, like in Heroku or DigitalOcean. Also too, you must know MySQL. MySQL is a given. Some places they might use MongoDB, but the reality of things is everybody's going to expect you to know MySQL and how to do SQL queries. So this is a must. I should have put this over here because you know what? I might just put it over there because it's actually that important to actually go here. Yeah, there you go. So let's put it there because this is something that every single level is gonna need. All right. So then from there you have mid-level to mid-level, right? So you got 2 to 7 years in this, right? Now you already been working, you already been jumping from one company to the other. You have experience at deploying apps, the whole shebang, right? By this time you should be able to be understanding the security and compliances. You need to be able to have extensive knowledge of MVC frameworks. You got to know at least multiple backend languages. Most people know PHP, Python, Node.js. Those are the languages that people mostly. Now let's go to the senior backend, right? So the senior backend developer, man, this is not just for anybody that could just come to this level. Like I'll be honest with you guys. Like most of the senior backend developers have a lot of pressure and a lot of responsibilities. This is not just like, hey, I just want to be a senior backend developer. This takes years. And there's a reason why they earn the big bucks, man. You could earn $90,000 to $200,000, man. I'm talking about corporate companies and companies that it's quick to throw that money at you, but you gotta be really good because you're gonna have a lot of responsibilities. You gotta be in constant contact with the higher management, CEOs, experience with big data, experience with automation and operations. Not only that, then you also too responsible for the most of the time. It's like the whole project is you're responsible for it. When somebody try to hack on the website, you're responsible for it. When somebody security is not good and something happens, you're responsible for it. When database is down and the website is down, you're responsible for it. Like every type of big responsibility on it, on the whole web application, the whole website, you're responsible for it. Okay? So you guys gotta really think about, do you really want to take that route? You know what I mean? So there's so much even more stuff that I could go into, but I don't even want to go so deep, because there's really no point of going that deep, because most jobs, they have different things and different requirements to become a senior backend developer. But I can guarantee you one thing: you don't get to this level without the years. This is not something that you're gonna say, hey, I just graduated from college and now I'm a senior backend developer. Like 99.9999 of people is not gonna become that person in 1 year. Trust me. Like, you know what I mean? And then from there, you have the full stack web developer. What is a full stack web developer? It means you got knowledge of front end and the back end, but you're not a master of anything. And why do I say that? Why do I say that? Because you're pretty much, you so spread out, in the industry, and you're trying to learn every single little bit of technology out there. It's almost impossible for you to keep up. There's no way that you could keep up with the fast pace of JavaScript and the front end, and then also to keep up with everything in the back end. It's almost impossible to keep up with everything. So when I say you're a master of none, it means like you're very good at every piece of the whole stack. And you're at any moment somebody tells you, hey, could you do this? Could you go into the database and fix this up? Or can you come in here and fix my page up, or whatever it is the occasion is, right? It means you could do all of them, but you're not an expert on it. There's guys who are expert in JavaScript. There's guys who are expert in, like, certain frameworks. There's guys who are really great with SQL queries. There's guys who are really amazing at architecting an application. But being a full stack web developer, it's not about that. It's not about mastering something. It's about being able to, get your hands dirty and your feet wet with every single part of the stack. Like, there's people who are just back end developers. Like, you tell them, hey, could you go and fix something, to this website and change the CSS? And they're like, like I can't even change anything in the 3SS. Pass it to the designers. Pass it to the designers. There's people like that. Or there's guys who are in the front end, like, little hipsters, like, hey man, I don't touch the back end. I don't touch database, man. I only do, the front end. I do my little JavaScript. I do my little stuff. That's all I do, man. Guys, that's fine if you want to be just a front end guy, or you just want to be a back end guy. But remember that if you want to be a full stack web developer, it just means that you're able to pick up any of the technologies at any given point. All right? So this is the full guide, full real, real guide that's out here. Something, on a higher level for you guys to understand, you know, speaking in English. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to come over here and give you a whole bunch of big words and a whole bunch of, uh, you know, big explanation of every single thing, because sometimes you don't need that. You just need to know, like, hey, what's going on here? Talk to me in English. You know what I mean? And that's why I'm here for you guys, man. Make sure you subscribe and make sure you like this video, man. It's your boy Joe, back at it again. You dig? Bah, dab.